All right, folks, welcome. This is a series a lot of people are going to click with excitement here in Titans League Season 3. I think mainly due to Freaking Andy. Freaking Andy is currently second place in this group. However, after this series, we'll see if Freaking Andy can overtake Hera again in Group C. Freaking Andy, of course, a player who was promoted up from the previous, from gold from his performances in the previous season. He beat Jordan. He beat Hera. He beat Lan. He has Ganji now to play. And then he has Barles. But let's not just look at that because this group is insanely close, right? Ganji, we just looked at it. He's got like a 10% chance for first, a 13% chance for second, like a 25% chance for third, a 20-some% chance for fourth. And then he's also got like a 15 or 16% chance to be relegated. Like Ganji could also go so many different directions here. And I think while the hype is going to be on Andy right here, I think Ganji's going to get a win today. I just don't know how many. Ganji came in. He beat Barles to start off his Titans League. And he looked pretty solid. I think getting 3-0'd versus Jordan is what hurt him the most in the standings. But getting 5 wins in this group, which has been really competitive, is nothing to laugh at. It. And Ganji in the previous season stayed alive. Stayed alive and played very well and showed that he could play in closed and open maps quite well. So will be an interesting one. I know Hera's going to be rooting for Ganji here because Hera wants first place. And we've got Lands Madness for game 1. We've got Freaking Andy playing as the Portuguese. And then we've got Ganji playing as the Franks. Both civilizations that have berry bonuses, actually. The Franks eating the berries faster. And then the Portuguese getting some wood from the berries. In fact, Andy is taking the berries instead of making a lumber camp here. Honestly, I think it's pretty smart. I haven't tested the build for Lands Madness. But as long as he has 4 on wood, or 4 on berries, sorry, he should be able to get the wood for the lumber camp timing. So I expect a lot of scouts here. I expect a lot of aggression. Again, both players very good at that. The home map for Ganji is Migration. And then the home map for Andy is Spiral. I think we'll have some really unique civ choices from Ganji today. Ganji picked Cumans first. And I believe we'll see Cumans played on Spiral. And then Ganji didn't really have many good water civilizations. I think he's going to try Bengalis for Migration. And I could break down where I think Andy will play things, obviously, in a bit. But it's just not quite as notable. Like, I think it will be Dravidians on Migration. And then I kind of forget what options he had available for Spiral. But, you know, someone had said, as I was about to hop into the series, I hope the winning doesn't get to Andy's head. I hope that he doesn't psych himself out, right? And I think Andy's been through a lot of adversity. He's had to face a lot of tests thus far in the first 3 rounds. Like, he was behind in multiple games versus Hera and 1 or 2 of the games versus Jordan. So, you know, I feel like if you come back in the game, it shows you've got really good mentality and really good self-belief. And I also don't feel as though, you know, his head's getting too big or anything along those lines. He was actually laughing. He appreciated all the support that people have been giving him, but he was like, man, people are really hyping me up here. I could be relegated. You know, this group is crazy. There's no guarantee for me that I'm even going to win the group, much less, like, you know, stay in the group. Who knows? So I really like Ganji. Or Andy's mindset, sorry. But, you know, Ganji and Andy, very similar players, where they're pretty good on the creative maps, and then still pretty solid on open maps. And I think they in the past have got thrown in there with, like, the arena players, the clowns, just because they know how to use monks. And both are actually fantastic with monks. But I don't think we'll be seeing many monks here. I think I prefer to have the Franks here. I think the Franks are going to play out a bit more smooth economically. But if this goes to Castle Age, then that's maybe where you would give advantage to the Portuguese. The Portuguese can just afford so many monks in combination with their knights. Yeah, Andy's going to be good. Andy got that house up. I saw someone was worried about it. Andy's dropping the barracks now. Both players just pushing in their deer. First game of the series. Feels like everybody and their mother's going scouts here. So it's just going right into the scout build. Super smooth. And I can't blame them too much. On other maps, I'd say you need to scout your opponent, but it's literally just a scout map. Unless your name is Daniel. Daniel did go Incas at one point. And he went for Eagle Scouts and Skirmishers and Spearmen. Just kind of fun. Daniel, of course, in Group A, which I'm excited to see more of as well. Stable goes up for Andy. I want to check Res Collected right now. Res Collected, higher for Andy. Yeah, makes sense, I suppose. I mean, he is collecting 2 resources at once. Frankish Scouts are going to have more HP here. So Andy's going to need to be careful with the engagements and both players sending their Spearmen out. So Andy, he'll be farming away, as will Ganji. Farming upgrades come in instantly and for free in each age for the Franks. Ganji finds where Andy is, confirms it's a stable opening. And I'd expect quite a few spears here. One thing that is notable as Ganji runs past the TC here is actually going to try and steal some pigs, maybe. One thing that's notable, though, to me, is that it is just 1 wood line for Andy. And it's just 6 on wood. With normal civs, you're going 1 lumber camp, you want to have 8 on wood. He does have the wood trickle from the berries, but I always find it a little tricky to incorporate some of these tiny little bonuses because I feel like the berries run out and then you're like, oh crap, I don't have enough wood. You get into this cycle where you need to pull these guys and build farms. And even right now, you're seeing wood is an issue for Andy. So again, just comes back to, I think the Frank bonuses play out a bit easier. And both players microing, but Ganji with 2 kills here and getting some really nice hits. So great defense from Ganji moments ago. And Ganji with the 2 lumber camp approach, transitioning into farms. Still has the berries here. Still will take those berries there. And Ganji's heard the noise, I'm sure. Knows Andy pretty well. And I'm sure that he knows that Andy's a real force here. But right now, not showing any fear. I expected big things from Ganji after he won his first series against Barles 2-1. And again, 5 wins after 3 rounds isn't bad. But right now, he is sitting in 5th place. But right above him, having played 1 more round, is Jordan at 6 wins. And then Barles at 6 wins. So Ganji would love to get 2 wins here today and go above 2 players. And jump into a playoff spot. Great defense here from Andy. Good micro from Ganji. You could tell what he's trying to do. He knows that Villager's weak. Villager's kind of running all around right now for Andy. Over here, scouts going in. Ganji getting walls down on the berries and on the wood line. Still not completed, though. Here, we're going to have a scout go down for Ganji. Very messy moments here. Neither player's lost to Villager, though. Great defense there from Ganji. He's got the Spearman around. And Andy just looping by. And yeah, Ganji just got housed, or was about to get housed temporarily. So he's just got to scramble up that house. Pretty crazy how many Spearmen are out from both and kind of where they're positioned right now. It's been a very messy game from both of them. But both of them put a lot of focus on their aggression. And just random Spearmen from Andy spread out throughout the map. Like these 3 Spearmen, I don't know if they're going home or if they're going to go forward. It does feel like the stage of the game, though, where maybe you'd want to have your Spearmen at home more than anything. I do want to check Res Collected here. Res Collected is dead even. KD 5-3. And Andy probably feels like I can't really do damage to Ganji right now. At least from what he's seen. Andy's got 8 Spearmen. Holy cow. And Andy's gone to gold tier 2. So what you can do is you can use 100 of that gold with 150 food to get bloodlines here. Ganji just going to pull back the Spearman. Ganji being sneaky here. Andy, I think, senses that the scouts could be coming. It's awfully quiet. Is looking around, waiting, sees it. So had good game sense to know the units could show up here. And probably just needs to pull some of the Spearmen back home. There's plenty of the Spearmen here. These Spearmen aren't really helpful anywhere else. The scout numbers are fine, though, for freaking Andy, who does have bloodlines in the queue. So it'll be 7 scouts for Andy. It'll be 65 HP per scout. For now, though, the Frankish scouts have more HP. And I think we might even see the forging upgrade. There's a lot of spears, lots of scouts from both. I could see forging making sense. And there's a market for both, actually. It's funny how... It's crazy how similar everything has been from them. Heavy spear numbers, similar amounts of scouts, similar timing on going to the gold, similar timing on the market. The key difference, I think, is Ganji's in a slightly better position to defend. But maybe I spoke too soon, because here comes Andy, and here's Ganji at the same time. Ganji's going to go in. Ganji is attacking the villagers, has killed one. Is going to doink the second one, so that's good. Just takes some hits, but kills Eco at least. And now it's Andy's turn to get revenge, and Ganji pulls the villagers away. This wood line is exposed. Ganji's going to notice that, though. He does. He walls it. He's got spearmen at home. I think Ganji's okay. I think, honestly, you're kind of happy with that engagement if you're Ganji. Yes, you lost more scouts than maybe you would want, but you killed 2 villagers. You didn't take any losses yourself. Not a bad spot to be in, but also not a bad spot to be in if you're Andy, because you're up to Castle Age faster. Both players needed the market a bit. But, I mean, the food eco is pretty phenomenal, right? Got 17 on food here against the... Well, it's 15 farms, and then there's obviously going to be more food from the berries. Let's say army-wise, I'd always prefer to be the player that has the leftover scouts. Upgrade those scouts to light cav. That's definitely something Andy's going to do, because Andy's continuing to make more scouts. And then again, at the same time, I like the positions for Ganji defensively with the amount of spears that are out. You can't full wall to the edge on this map, but I like this. Like, this makes it more difficult for Andy to find damage. And Ganji will know he might need a few more spear, or at least he needs to consider the pikeman upgrade. Because he just saw those scouts again from Andy, and there's quite a few of them here. So it's probably going to be just a couple knights from Ganji, and then... Oh, look at this micro. Beautiful micro here. I think he's just going to go pike defense and boom. He's got so many spears out at the moment. Yeah, Andy sold his stone, so he won't have the stone to drop a town center, but you could just buy it back. Yep. That's what players tend to do. Use the market again. Use it once, use it twice, use it thrice. Use it all the time. But they've got pretty good eco balance, so they don't really need it. As so now the spearmen being split up right now, kind of an issue. And Ganji doesn't click the pikeman upgrade just yet. Does drop a TC here on the gold, near the wood. Not a bad spot. Goes for light cav. Light cav upgrade's about to be in for Andy. Ganji needs walls here. This could just ruin him. These light cav are so strong. I don't even know if he could fully wall this. He can. And very well defended thus far. Still could lose some villagers here, but it just always feels like Ganji's got just enough in defense. Obviously, second TC is going to go up. We also have the second TC here from Andy. And oh boy, these guys are good, guys. These players are fantastic. And both of them could be relegated. And they could both go to the playoffs. They could both also get first place. Coming in with 5 wins here, Ganji gets a sweep against Andy. Which, prior to all of Titans League Season 3, you wouldn't have said was the craziest thing ever. I think with how Andy's been playing, people would be very surprised by it. But even still, he would go up to second place. And then his final series against Hera could decide who goes first. I love the hype that Andy's been receiving. But Ganji looking in a better spot right now in this game. He's got 3 TCs. He doesn't have as much army, but it's going to be kind of awkward for Andy to use his army at the moment. Because you just see town centers and you don't really know where you can go with the pikemen. I think he's just realized I can't use pikemen offensively here. I just have to try and find pickoffs and use the pikemen at home in case there's a counterattack. And would like to see the 3rd TC at some point for Andy, as he will be falling further and further behind economically. There's an overchop here for Ganji. Ganji, woodline's exposed. Ganji doesn't see it, and the light cav are in. And this is kind of an issue with the defensive play, right? You sit at home, and you're bound to have some openings here, though not as bad as it could have been, actually. Ganji, actually, with the quick walls here, knew the villager would die. He's going to trap the light cav, and this would be huge if Ganji can kill the light cav because of this. What a play from Ganji. So loses 2 villagers instead of like 8. and then kills all the light cav. That's impressive work there from Ganji. And that's just in the moment recognition of that villager's going to die anyways. Let's make sure I take something from the enemy with me. And I like the town watch upgrade. I'm pretty sure he did it because of that. He's like, I should have known about that a bit earlier. And oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Andy says it's my turn. It's my turn. And did you see that trap? I need to see this again, actually. These guys are so good. So the Knights... What in the world? So the Knights loop in, right? Ganji's looking for a counterattack. Andy's running away. And watch this game damage control. Gate, house, house. And then Ganji goes, oh no, I'm trapped. I will get those units converted. I need to delete the Knights. That is ridiculous. What in the world, man? Like, I would just simply pull my vills away and hope the Knights run away. That's not even something that crosses my mind there. Ridiculous plays all around as we now have Andy dropping the Palisades, and this game is dead even. We've got 85 population for Ganji, 82 population for Andy. A bit more offense from Ganji at the moment as he kills the monk with the light cav. But exciting times, man, in this group. And I mean, I'm just pumped because I feel like these players have gotten better since this format was introduced a year and a half ago, right? Like, coming up from gold, both of them. Ganji staying in plat in the previous season. Now looking like a god here against Andy, who came up from gold for this season. Like, this is the whole point. And they will both look at, you know, they will have looked at each other in the group prior to this whole thing happening, as they're both at 91 population. And they would have said, I need to get wins against that guy. That's one of my best chances. And here they are. They're both playing phenomenal Age of Empires. So, kind of tricky for me to say who's winning right now. Res Collected's probably dead even. I like how Ganji's being active with the light cav. And we've seen a couple monks picked off, and could maybe even pick off a monk here. You probably just click the light cav around the map. I like the potential for the Franks to build castles defensively all over the map. So in the long run, I think I like the Franks there. Might be one of the rare games where Portuguese lacking squires for infantry could be an issue because the pikes will be quite slow. But the army count right now for Andy is stronger. He's got 20 pikemen versus just 12 from Ganji. And Andy's also got a couple monks mixed in. And also is going to have some siege. So Andy's going to try and pressure here. Ganji staying active. And there Ganji lost a pike. Could lose the villager there. Sorry, still trying to keep track of the light cav. There's movement all the time. There's defense all the time. 2 knights from Andy. Goes in. Ganji was waiting with monks. Here the light cav swoop in. Kill a monk. Here we've got the siege. Both players notice this. Might be a moment where if Ganji's worried he drops a castle somewhere. Light cav looking for monk kills. See the monks there. Are going to go in for them. There's no pikemen there. A big moment for Ganji. He's going to kill all the monks. Beautiful play from Ganji. And now we have an important moment. Because there will be a castle from freaking Andy right on that gold. I think Ganji needs a counter castle. If you see this, you just immediately counter castle it. Yes. And actually, I think Andy should bail on his castle. Yep. It's not the biggest deal to just keep building yours if you're Ganji, but that's the correct move from Andy to back away from this. Now Ganji hoping to convert pikemen. He's going to kill the mangonel with his own pikes. He's defended from the attack. He has a slight villager lead. Andy has 3 relics, which does play a role in how much gold income is going to be there in the long run. But Andy kind of losing some control at the moment. And he's, you know, I'm worried about his long-term army composition, especially now that Franks have a castle to maybe make some axemen. Look at Ganji. He's killing the siege. He's converting the pikes. This is really good moments for Ganji here, who's shot up to a 15 population lead. Even kills a monk there. And Andy's going to try and pressure this in the Imperial Age. Andy now dropping a castle here. And he's got really good focus over gold, right? There's gold here, and then his opponent's castle's here. So Imp makes sense. And Ganji, he must have sensed the score drop, or just felt like it makes sense when you both got castles in the middle. And he just uses the market and clicks up himself. Amazing game sense. Amazing sense from Andy to build this castle. Incredible sense from Ganji to know that he needs to do a similar thing here. Okay, so I am really curious, though. Where is gold being mined right now? Here for Andy. Here as well. He doesn't have a lot of vision elsewhere. For Ganji, he's got gold back here, which is going to be fine. He's got gold here as well. So he actually has a lot more on gold. And he's also outposting the sides to get vision in this area. Now, both players should maybe be doing that. But I'm just not seeing a ton of gold income right now for Andy. So it's probably going to be more so like Pikeman Trebuchet as his option. And obviously, maybe some gunpowder would make sense. Like additional gunpowder if there's so much infantry. Little counterattack from Ganji. The game is incredibly close. But he's got the lead at least in terms of his eco at the moment. Honestly, with the relics collected for Andy, though, the res collected is probably really close. Andy will defend this right now. And Andy is still very exposed in this area, right? And we have Ganji making a defensive castle on the flank. Andy was over here, pushed all the villagers off of gold, killed a villager or two, and Ganji's reacted. And now it's Ganji's turn to also try and raid again. This is so fun right now. I love the movement from Ganji, though, to try and raid when Andy doesn't have castles at home. But I also love how Andy's consistently forcing the issue with these organ guns and these pikemen. That Lightcap just moonwalked right through the whole group. No Treb yet from freaking Andy. It's a little bit of a surprise to me. But he might be very focused on the fights and actually is going to buy another castle here, I think. He sold stone. What happened? He's got 32 on stone. Something's going on. Because Andy's trying to balance things out at the moment. Must have just thought I need stone and transferred villagers to stone everywhere. Oh, no. Okay, so there's just a lot of the villagers that were over here went to stone. But Ganji's gone for chemistry, something that Andy has not done. And Ganji doesn't really have an answer to this right now until chemistry comes in. So he's trying to do what he can from the sides. The outposting is so important. He's finding vulnerabilities at Andy's base, even though Andy's pushing him. And Andy, still no trebuchets. He's got one on the way, though. He's actually going to lose these organ guns to a treb. It's actually pretty smart thinking from Ganji to just use that. Now can I check res collected? Res collected, freaking Andy's ahead? Not ahead in food and gold, though. It's just wood and stone, actually. Obviously, things are pretty close there. Halb upgrade is in, so Cav is not really the strongest option for Ganji in the main fight. But he is going to be going gunpowder. And he's got 4 ranges to produce the hand cannons. The hand cannons should be pretty good against all of this. Love the value that Andy's gotten from the organ guns, though. I wouldn't have thought to make organ guns. It feels like just a couple of them have accomplished so much. So Ganji's game plan now is raid the sides with Lightcalf and continue to expand with castles away from the middle. And then hold the middle with my gunpowder. That's the thought process. He's behind in population. Andy, hoping to expand here to get vision, will be found by the Lightcalf. Lightcalf don't even have many upgrades. I don't even think you need it, though. You're just here to distract and kill villagers. That could lead to the castle being denied. Andy realizes it. Andy needs to push. Andy is pushing. He's got trebs. He's got halbs. He's taken out the main TC from Ganji. Ganji's main base is still kind of being raided by organ guns as well. Here, I think the castle can complete for Andy, but he did have to react to that. Still waiting to see if Ganji's going to bring in those hand cannons, because the hand cannons will start to take out the halbs. The Eco KT is 14 to 14. They both have about 120 villagers. And again, Ganji using trebs against organ guns, something that players just never really do, but I think is really resourceful. And the castle for Andy's actually going to go down here. So I'm looking at armies, and it's just straight halb right now for Andy. And the food eco is kind of rough for both of them, right? So it's going to be tough to get any tech switches in. I'm wondering how many organ guns Andy can mass. He might need to stay on the organ guns from the other castles that he has. I feel like the hand cannons have done an amazing job at holding the position. Here we have farms expanding. Kind of funny. Knowing Andy is going to try and steal a farm or something there. Organ guns have to back away from the trebs, which is a weird statement. And then the hand cannons here will clear up these halbs. Andy's using this time to stabilize his economy really well. He's got 3 relics, guys. He knows he needs to pay attention here. He's done a lot of damage here with this. That is a wasted trebuchet for Ganji. And yeah, the hand cannons are out, but they can only really... They're so slow, right? They can only really be in one spot, and Andy's in so many good positions. You know what I think would be sick for Andy right now? Cavalier. Your opponent hasn't gone Pike in a really long time. As weird as it sounds, I actually think going for Cav against Franks here would be awesome. This halb is going to add up. Andy's organs have done enough to hold off the hand cannons. Again, not really a matchup like gunpowder v gunpowder. I see that frequently. Andy's getting some raids in over here with halbs, as Ganji's castles are going to start to fall in this area. Of course, as I say that, there's a trebuchet here from Ganji. And yeah, honestly, I guess the organs are able to hold against the hand cannons. They have more HP. Oh, man, this is so rough for Ganji right now, guys. Like, how are you supposed to macro when you've got so many siege units to pay attention to? He has to defend this castle, and then he has to push this castle. And both players have, like, no stone, which is actually pretty wild. They're both buying it. Or at least they should buy it if they haven't already. Bombard cannon for Ganji gets found. He really wanted this treb. But, you know, he still had these trebs over here from before, as he's going to continue to treb the organs, which again is a smart move. And if he just had those hand cannons he had before, he might be able to kill all the halbs. And he might... Here come those hand cannons. Ganji loses this castle. Ganji's still trebbing down this castle. This game is pure chaos. But Andy is going to take out those 2 trebs. What in the world, man? This is sick. And we're going to see gunpowder from Andy as well now. Who, I mean, he's already been making gunpowder with organ guns, obviously. But, I mean, he's going to make his own hand cannons. Which makes a lot of sense. Ganji does have a big numbers lead, though. And Portuguese don't really have anything too special about their gunpowder until the unique tech comes in. Look at this game, man. I feel like it's just been a seesaw type game, right? Where it's going back and forth. I understand that Andy is he's taken out more castles than he's lost. But it just feels like any moment Ganji's hand cannon number is going to do something, and maybe this is the moment. Ganji able to save this treb. Ganji will soon have a second treb. Ganji takes out Andy's treb. Ganji with 42 army. Andy just sitting at 15. And he's possibly over macroing a little bit here. 154 villagers is a lot. He's got castles set up, but if it starts to fall apart for him here, and Ganji raids the other side, it could be brutal, because you are still super exposed over here for Andy. Like, this is the type of area that Ganji could possibly raid now. Just honestly, Andy doesn't have a lot on golds. He's got 7 on golds here. But he can't take this gold. Well, I mean, he can, but it's not easy to take any of these gold positions. He actually has 0 on gold at the moment because he pulled the villagers from here to attack a treb, which is just the funniest thing. Ganji happy enough to just go with light cap. I'd like to see him squeeze in more upgrades, but it's more of like a produce units, micro units type of game, and numbers has obviously been a big factor here. But Andy doesn't see this gold. He's not on that gold. Oh, and Ganji's going to start to see this, guys. This is going to be a problem for Andy, I think. I think Ganji's going to castle this immediately, right? If you see your opponent scrambling here, I think you just start dropping castles with the Franks. Also, you need to still protect your treb. And he's going to try and raid over here now. It's just, I guess, the bombard cannons that Andy's waiting for. His hand cannon number still struggling to compete with the numbers from Ganji. And Ganji has not castled this area. He has not raided it to death yet. Andy's making halbs. Love the light cav and how far they've had to loop around here. That's hard work to do that. And oh no, Ganji is overextended into the castle fire because he was focused on those other areas. And so Andy could actually hold this position now. Now, he's obviously going to get many kills with this, though, which is a positive, but you can see what happened. He got pulled into the castle fire. The castle here from Andy has 26 kills. Now, with the bombard cannon there, Andy could take the trebs, meaning that he doesn't have to put as much focus on this position. God, look at the light cav rates, though. There's just so many little blue dots running through. But Ganji's clearly concerned he's going to lose this position because he's just placed another castle to fortify this. And he is going to lose the position unless, you know, the trebuchets somehow take out the bombard cannon here. Yeah, he's absolutely going to lose that position, which means he needs to push this position. This is a position that needs to be pushed right now. So that's how this game goes. It's how this game ends as well, right? Freaking Andy needs to stabilize the south area and push the north. And Ganji needs to stabilize in the north. And he needs to push the south. And it's anyone's guess as to where this goes. Because honestly, all hell's about to break loose. If it hasn't already. This is insane. I think the key is actually bombard cannons in defense. Or even your trebs in defense. You need something in these... in like this location to snipe any of the siege that Andy's going to be pushing with if you're Ganji. And you need similar things if you're Andy. Andy has actually shifted his siege. This is actually pretty smart. I think I would have just gone for the chaos play and probably just like died miserably. He's just going to shift his bomber cannons over here. I mean, why not? It's actually not that far away. And there's Arquebus now. So his gunpowder is going to be affected by ballistics. Still doesn't have the numbers of gunpowder compared to Ganji. Still doesn't have the amount on food compared to Ganji. Ganji just runs over here with his hand cannons. Ganji kills one of the bombard cannons. He's going to kill the next one as well. There's still going to be a treb and one more cannon. Here's another treb getting attacked by villagers on that side. But the bombard cannons are going to go down. And the population for Ganji is ridiculous. He's got 150 vills, 50 on food, 40 on gold. And he's got more army as well. If you can have a 30 eco lead while also having more army, you'll take that every day. Freaking Andy's falling apart. And I think it really just came down to Ganji's decision finally to just castle this area and really push Andy. And he's back here, Ganji. Whoa, dude. Damn, what a performance. And Andy needs a response now. He needs to take this castle out. Looks like he's about to do that. He needs to somehow keep this castle up at the same time in an ideal world. That's not going to happen. That castle falls. This castle will fall right around the same time. Maybe. There is a light cav there. No way. No way. No way. Ganji's going to keep it up. Ganji's going to keep it up. The treble's unprotected. Andy's falling apart. Andy is falling apart. The hand cannons are here to protect the trebs from villagers this time. And then gunpowder could still go this direction from Ganji. And then he still has this. And now Andy's base is wide open. Andy's going to have no castles in his eco soon. And Ganji can just fully raid him to death. Dang, what a game. Again, things are not... There is zero foregone conclusions in this group beyond the fact that poor land will be relegated. Everything else is kind of possible. It's now 60 on food for Andy, though. Like, the fact that both of these players are just able to come back when other players would crumble is just insane. But there's just so much happening. Ganji is split up into so many different locations. Look at the minimap. And then look at the amount of castle spots that Ganji has as well. He's got a long line of castles to protect himself. Still mining stone and gold around the map. Again, there's so many locations he hasn't even found yet. Like down here, that's going to be 20 villagers dead. Andy trying to push this back and hold this position. But now he's losing villagers here as well. Ganji shot up to 75 eco kills in this game. He will not take this castle out yet, somehow. Beautiful play there from Andy. And, you know, Andy, we just saw him lose a bombard cannon as he's desperately trying to push this castle. How important is this position for Ganji? The golds that are behind this, that, you know, having the middle of the map, having such a free entry into the opponent's economy from this position has been massive from him. And he's got hand cannons here on the wood line, too. I mean, Andy's population is still 180. But I think he must have made a Feitoria. Oh, he made a Feitoria. That explains it, because I did the math, and it didn't add up. And I don't think this is a game where Feitorias could save you. Feitorias are long-term payoff, usually used on closed maps where it's hard to access them. I think if you don't have the army numbers now, you're just going to be toast. At least that's the way I see it. Honestly, with the amount of gold that Ganji has, I would even like to see him pick Cavalier here. He doesn't actually need it. He could just bank gold for more hand cannons, because that has worked pretty well. But it's something to consider here. When you've got 73 on food, and then still 17 on gold. He's back, trying to take this castle out again. Light Cav have found more villagers there. Big gunpowder fight here. Decent fight for Andy, who's taken the military lead. Because I guess the gunpowder's just superior for him. And Ganji needs to engage against this. Because if this castle goes down, then this is open. What a freaking game here, guys. Still waiting to see if Andy's gonna be able to do this. How is he still alive? How is he still alive? Crazy. Is this castle gonna go down finally? Yeah, it will. I think it takes one more hit because it's on the hill, but that castle will fall. Which I still see to be the core of the issue here for Andy. Simply the fact that he does not have defensive castles and his opponent can raid him constantly. The 4 relics is really nice. Beautiful job to repair the Treb as the Treb continues to fire. Beautiful job. His hand cannons here have paid off. But now you're just even more exposed on this side. I like what Ganji's doing. He got fletching for his castles. I'd like to see him get ballistics even, maybe. And he's always keeping a close eye on this while also having a fine mix of raids. Getting Blast Furnace now, which he didn't have before, which is going to add even more potency to his light cav. Yeah, now he's getting the ballistics upgrade. Like, he's just thinking, what more can I do? I'm already on the comp that I like. Holy evacuation of wood! Oh! That's jackpot. Freaking jackpot there against freaking Andy. But yeah, he's just trying to get upgrades that maybe he's missed out on. And now Andy, I didn't realize it's actually so bad for him. Yeah, Andy is having wood problems. Dang. If you're having wood problems, I feel bad for you, son. Damn, look at him go. Look at those villagers go. And obviously, Ganji has his position locked down, kind of, right? He's got vision here. While still trying to hold here. If Ganji had 2 bombard cannons, I think he could just always swoop in, kill the Trebs, and back away. But that is a different type of game. The bombard cannon play. This has just been a grind. Spamming units and pushing in from multiple angles. Ganji using his mobility. 113 villagers killed. And I don't see the Feitoria in the back being enough for Andy. He's just getting hit from all angles. His Pops is one, he's in a good spot, right? Because he's at 180, but he's going to lose another castle here. He's going to lose his 4 relics. He still hasn't taken Ganji out in the middle of the map. Ganji has sunk 1,000+ stone into repairing this castle, I'm sure. But he's got his Trebs just hoping to get those hits. Castle down for Andy. Did Ganji see the Feitoria? He did see the Feitoria. The hand cannons over here get killed. Andy is slowly getting suffocated here by Ganji's pressure. And Ganji, I guess, is going to go for the Feitoria, and Andy knows it. Andy just taps out and calls the GG. Andy did lose the Treb here in that moment. And what a first game, guys. You cannot look away from this one. Ganji up 1-0. So live standings, Ganji goes up to 6 wins, which is tied with Jordan, which is tied with Barles, and then which is now 1 below Andy. Crazy, crazy stuff. I love this game. I mean, you know, honestly, it's really hard for me to be critical of either player here. But I think Ganji did a slightly better job at adding eco throughout the chaos. If you look around, there's just farms and eco everywhere, right? And also stacking castles in ways to defend from the raids. I mean, he himself actually did more eco raiding than Andy ever did. We didn't see much from that from Andy at all. The main push from Andy, it felt like if it had a little bit more to it, right? Or even if he maybe had his own gunpowder mixed in, like hand cannons and bomber cannons, it could have actually broke Ganji. But as Ganji was losing the middle of his base, he was making sure he took the left side and making sure he eventually kept an eye on this. And it just had a beautiful flow, this one. Rez collected 48,000 food for Ganji, 23,000 gold. And Andy was all over the wood and the stone, but just didn't quite have the army comp sorted. And, you know, I feel like, you know, Andy could have maybe had the same exact army composition where he went hand cannons and light cav, and then they have similar strengths. But obviously, when he went for the middle push approach, he wasn't able to think about the expanding as much. Because he went forward castle and went to push the middle. 4K gold from the relics there for Andy. Makes next game very interesting now, the fact that Ganji won this first one. And I'm happy now that I gave the intro that I did for this guy, because Ganji is a serious competitor, and Ganji is just as good as Andy on his day. So, exciting times for him, and we'll see what Andy has in his home map next. But that was a true Lands Madness game. Just quality stuff.